Blue Beetle is the newest installment in the DC Extended Universe before it's going to be eventually rebooted by James Gunn in a couple of years. This film follows a boy named Jaime Reyes who uncovers an alien scarab which chooses him to be its symbiotic host, bestowing the recent college graduate with a suit of armor that's capable of extraordinary powers, forever changing his destiny as he becomes a superhero known as Blue Beetle. Now, as you could tell, I'm quite the DC fan here. I really enjoy a lot of the DC Extended Universe films, but as of late, they've been pretty hit and miss for me. The Suicide Squad by James Gunn was fantastic. Wonder Woman 1984 sucks. Birds of Prey was fine. Black Adam was a movie that exists. I have not seen Shazam 2 yet. In The Flash, while I really liked at first, I'm now starting to see a lot of the problems that a lot of people have with it now. And I don't think it is as good as I said in my review. I think I would have downgraded that film a whole lot more. I think it's fine, but really forgettable, and the problems are really apparent in that movie. So the DCEU has not been in the best shape as of recently, with only one great movie they have in their lineup since Zack Snyder's Justice League, I will say. Yeah, that's quite a low bar, I know, for some people, but I really love that movie. And yeah, there's only been one good movie since then, like really good. So how does Blue Beetle hold up? Well, I have to say, this is one of the better DC Extended Universe films. I say that because the best thing about this film was that I was able to focus a lot on characters this time around rather than spectacle. This film cost $104 million, so it's one of the cheapest films in the DCEU. And you can tell that the way this movie is filmed, how it's presented. There's a lot of in-location settings here, but because of the small budget, the more extravagant and more expensive shots sometimes look really fake, or doesn't feel as futuristic or lived in as I think the movie was hoping it will look. It's trying to go for a more cyberpunk aesthetic, which I really like, especially with some of the costume designing, but I don't think this film was able to reach its potential look that it wanted to have in general. It still looks really good, and a lot of the in-camera action and set designs and locations all look very lived in that regard. And because this film was able to look real in many places, you're not taking out the experience all that much. Now, as I said before, the family aspect was really good. I mean it. It's quite honestly the best aspect of the film. Jaime's family here is really good. The Reyes family is really funny, relatable. They all have heartwarming moments, and each of these characters had time to shine. The mother and father are really entertaining, and you really feel for them in terms of what situation they're now put into because of a lot of unfortunate circumstances behind their financial life and how they've been trying to keep the house steady and take care of their children all at the same time. Because this film was able to focus a lot on human problems and focus a lot on characters and family, the film was able to actually feel grounded in reality, and there feels like there's something at stake for our character and hero, Jaime Reyes, who is really, really fun in the film, and I really enjoyed the actor's performance here. I think he was from the Cobra Kai show, but he did a really good job here, and I really bought him as his character of Blue Beetle. And whenever he gets into the suit and gets into action, he's just as much fun in the action sequences as he is with his family. He is such a likable hero, and honestly, I would have loved to see more of him in future installments if this movie was to be successful. Unfortunately, it's not, so it's pretty unlikely, but I would have loved to see more of this character come around. The villain, for the most part, are hit and miss. The main antagonist, the old lady, I was never threatened by her. I felt she's not threatening. I didn't care for her. Her motivations are weak. It's something that I've seen a million times before. But the other antagonist was actually given backstory, was given a lot of depth, even in scenes with no dialogue. You tell that there's something going on with him, something that he's thinking about in a deeper sense. And because the film was subtle enough to take its time developing his character in a way that doesn't talk down to the audience, where he gives speeches all the time, it made for a very interesting antagonist to go up against Blue Beetle. And the final fight with him in Blue Beetle, in my opinion, was actually pretty awesome and fun to watch. Now, it might seem like I love this movie. Unfortunately, my problem is with the story. While the story is really good and tight and well executed for the most part, my problem with this movie is that the story is something that we've seen many times before. There are many moments in the film where I found it to be a bit predictable. Now, there are other moments in the film where I felt like it handled a lot of the predictable elements pretty well, but still, nonetheless, I didn't find myself surprised with the story or where it's going. I felt like I knew what was going to happen throughout the entire movie. Now, as I said before, the antagonists are a very mixed bag. Now, the story was able to feel very tight. This is a straight 2-hour film, and thankfully the pacing was able to feel like there was nothing much in terms of wasted time. But there are definite moments where the pacing can drag at times, and the movie can focus a little too much on the family element. Also, I didn't find the movie particularly funny, and I found some of the jokes, apart from the aunt and grandma, or I think she's the aunt. I think she's she's a grandma. I think I found her to be the funniest part of the film, but all in all, this film is pretty light in terms of comedy that actually got to me. The relationship that the love interest had with the hero is something that we've seen before, so nothing much new there to talk about. This movie is a safe, fun superhero film. It does what it wanted to do well enough to where you can enjoy it, relax, and have a good time for 2 hours, and feel like you had a fun time at the theater. For one viewing, at least for me, I found this movie to be fun overall, fun action sequences, a fun family dynamic, fun characters, fun music, fun everything. It's just not one of the best superhero movies in my opinion, but this is still one of the better DCEU films to come out of recent years, and for that, I'm going to give Blue Beetle a B. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.